Representative Lucight, I'm getting reports that you are moving excavation drones across the Arusha Vales.
Welcome to the show where anything could happen. The real play experience where we put players against problems with no easy answers, incomplete information, and a ticking clock. I'm Oscar, I'm your host, and it's my job to set things up and to go behind the scenes to pass messages to the players to keep knocking things off track. In this episode, we find ourselves in the LHS 1140 system, orbiting LHS 1140b, a rocky super-Earth in the habitable zone, just 49 light-years from Earth. Its thick atmosphere and gravity make colonisation tricky, but its mineral resources have drawn interest from across the UFR and beyond. The UFR Colonial Claimant Department has taken residence on the newly established Orbital Station, Kite's End, and have finished its primary assessment, and 3 competing groups, each with partial legal rights, have arrived to finalise terms. On the surface, things look diplomatic, but tensions are high, and it's not just about land. Let's meet our players.
Hi, I'm Chris Payne. I'm a game developer and role player, and I am playing William Lindholt, the representative for the Indigenous Rights Council for the local people.
Hi, I'm Hem. I am a actual play role player, and I am going to be playing Arla Stonewell, who is the Calvex Collective Envoy.
Hi, I'm Lucie. I'm a video game producer, and I am playing the representative Lucight, hailing from the Ascension group, who has all the technology, all the means, all the plans. We're ready.
Hi, I'm Sabrina, and I'll be playing Leslie David, the UFR Colonial Arbitrator, and I'm a games marketing person.
And as usual, anything could happen.
All right. Hi, everyone. Listen, I'm here to hear you all out, listen, learn, and then mediate on what it is that we're going to do from here. It would be great to hear from each of you, and kind of what brings you here and what you'd like to get out of this conversation.
Hi, if I can speak first.
Of course. Why not?
Thank you. Well, I'm the representative of the Ascension group. As you know, we're obviously very well prepared to start mining on the planet. And in fact, we already have an operational platform. We have the technology. We've tested it.
I'm sorry, you said you already have an operational platform. Is that on the planet already?
No, it's actually... No, it's a platform that is outside, but we have actually started running tests.
Oh, so you started taking stuff already?
Well, we've tested it to make sure that our technology was okay, and of course to prove that, we could actually do this job. So it has been proven. I can provide the documentation to show of it. And essentially what we would want is, given or, proof of record, we'd like to get at least 60% of the rights to the Northern Hemisphere.
To just the Northern Hemisphere?
I mean, at least, essentially, I know we have to share, no problem, but I'm keen to get the Northern Hemisphere bit.
Right, and when you say that you're running tests, are you able to tell me more about what exactly you're testing for?
We were testing that our technology was actually able to mine on this planet, since it's a new environment. This is all very cutting edge. Mm-hmm. So it's all about essentially just proving that we could actually exploit the resources of that planet, and we can, in fact.
All right, and is there anything in particular in the planet that that the Ascension group is most interested in?
Oh, the energy resources that can be found are really unavailable, and they could really help my whole community thrive, and develop, and just develop, really.
Yeah, understood. I'd love to hear from somebody else what brings them here.
William, why don't you go ahead?
Well, thank you. My name is William Lindholt. I represent the interests of the Avahe people. who are descendants of colonists who first landed here 200 years ago. They are deeply concerned about protections of their sacred sites, and that Ascension have already begun drilling in places where the Avahe people's oral tradition suggests that they should not be.
Right. And so I'm assuming these sacred sites, are they purely residing in the northern hemisphere or located throughout the planet?
They are scattered around.
Okay.
There's no large area. The key sites are the ones where the Ascension have already established platforms.
I do apologize, William, if I can call you William. I think we were maybe a little bit hasty in testing our technology. I do apologize for that.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
You will, of course, be ceasing that and from moving on, correct?
Yes, of course. It was really a test.
Okay, and just before you ran that test, or I'm not sure, is it Lucight?
It's Lucight.
Lucight.
Yes.
Lucight, William, I don't know if from either of your sides you're aware, was there communication between your two sides about the fact that this was a sacred site before the tests began?
No, and I do apologize. It was really an oversight on our part. We should have checked. We just checked that there were no one. We wanted to do a little test. It went better than we expected, actually. So I do apologize that this was a mistake, and it will definitely not be done again. And we'll make sure, if we do get the rights that we're hoping for, to ask and make sure that it's okay with the Indigenous Rights Council members.
Well, the key regions that we're interested in are the Arusha Vales and the Valley of Winds, where the original colony ship crashed. Those are the primary objectives.
Are they in the north or the south of the planet?
The north.
Okay, and these sites, have they already been tampered with because of the tests, or these ones have not been touched yet and we want to keep them secure?
Arusha Vale has an Ascension mining platform established already.
Okay. Good to know. All right, thank you so much for your transparency, William. Ala, would you like to tell me a little bit more about your perspective?
Yes, actually, first of all, hello. My group, Calvex, we're very much about kind of getting rid of this capitalism thing, kind of more about working for the group, keeping things clean and tidy and respectful, of course, sharing out what we have amongst the people in our group, all those people we'll be working with, and trying to be as fair and clear and transparent as possible. Our actual interest here is actually, if it is possible, you mentioned you were both interested in the north. That works out perfect for us. We're actually interested in the southern hemisphere itself. It has incredibly good plains there. We have different forms of technology we can put in place so that we can begin to terraform a little bit and turn it slightly more towards something that works for us. But yes, we're hoping to settle some sort of colony there and really push a different way of living. And of course, it would be helpful, of course, if we could access some of the oh my god, is it hydrogen? I'm so sorry. Right.
Various resources, yeah.
Thank you. If it's possible, we could access some of the things in the northern hemisphere to just help us with, at least initially, with some power requirements. That's all we're really looking for. We're happy to work with mostly anyone, provided, of course, we have similar mindsets.
Of course. Okay, and I mean, sorry, go on, Lisa.
Can I just add? I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say, because obviously I've given some detailed amount that I actually we would like, 60% of the northern hemisphere, specifically because we've calculated, obviously we've done a lot of studies prior to this experiment, and 60% should cover about the cost of all the investments that we've brought in to actually be able to help this planet help us flourish, essentially, as a people.
Representative Lucight, I'm getting reports that you are moving excavation drones across the Arusha Vales.
Oh, it's probably because I've sent a message to stop the testing because they were going in the wrong direction. They were, as you said, we did the tests in a sacred site, which again I'm very sorry about. So I'm gonna see about that.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, William. Just curious, for the Indigenous Rights Council and for the Calvex Collective, since the Calvex Collective is asking to be able to create a colony or settle a colony in the Southern Hemisphere, Ala, would your side be willing to negotiate exactly which areas of the Southern Hemisphere it will be in order to make sure that the Indigenous community are able to maintain their sacred sites?
Absolutely. I mean, if there is a way that we can avoid places, there is plenty enough room on the planet for all of us, I believe. So I think we can find places that would work for us, and it avoids areas that you would rather keep hold of. And we're more than willing to share, technologies and cultures and whatever works, really. Of course, we'd absolutely be open to those negotiations with you.
That's fair. As long as we retain autonomous status for the Arusha Vales and the Valley of Winds, then I think we can coexist.
I'm sorry. In for the purpose of complete transparency, I'm getting reports that my testing platform has been probing the geothermal vents in the northern mountains, and it seems to have triggered some increased pressure. So there's build-up pressure and shaking.
I thought you said your tests were completed.
Yes.
Well, the report just came in, so it's actually from that test. And
they're still testing.
Well,
they have to stop drilling.
I know. It's just it takes time. Like I said, it's with the drones moving and everything.
I'm sorry. How long does it take to hit the off switch on a thing? I mean, you must have emergency stops.
That's not what you do. Then obviously all the drones and robots are just what you expect them to just sit there, and they have to come back.
Well, you can just turn them off for now, at least until we can figure out what's going on.
I'm so sorry to interrupt everyone, but I am getting reports of seismic tremors, which is an issue for the population who are currently on the planet. It's happening in the northern mountains, so Representative Lucight, I'm going to have to ask that you demand your people stop immediately with any tests that they're currently doing. Can you confirm that you've sent them a message to completely stop?
I can confirm that we have. I'm sorry, I don't have my science advisor with me. Can I ask that is it a region, William, that is famous for its seismic activity?
It's not seismic activity. There are artificial structures beneath there that the original colonists discovered, investigated, and left in the Avahe people's oral tradition dire warnings not to disturb them.
Oh.
Oh, so the history of the planet
move
is
your
far
platform
more.
out now.
History of your planet is far more than just 200 years then. That's fascinating.
Are you saying that you've been hiding from the UFR some danger in the planet that the UFR should have been made aware
of? William, I've got to ask, so these sacred sites, are they inhabited or?
No, the Avahe do not go near them.
That's very interesting because I'm hearing that there are signals detected from below the surface.
I'm hearing the same.
Yes.
Representative Lucight, I don't suppose you know what kind of signals you're detecting?
Unfortunately not. Like I said, we just tested our technology, so we have a few drones and robots from the platform, but beyond that, it takes time to study what it is. Just abnormal signal.
Right. I will see if I can find out if there's anything else we can determine about these signals. In the meantime, Ala, I'm quite curious.
Warning, energy surge on station. Energy surge. Long-range communications have been knocked out. Power systems are on shutdown. Systems breakdown in 7 minutes.
Right.
What the hell?
System breakdown as in inability to communicate, or as in the
Fusion
orbital
reactor
station?
damaged. Fusion reactor damage. Expected, unless power systems are returned, fusion systems will collapse in 7 minutes.
Was that signal an EMP?
Apparently. Oh, gosh, and now this Kite is in danger.
Uh-huh.
Should we-
Let's see. I wonder if there's somebody that I can contact on board to help with getting our energy back in the ship so that we, in the station, so that we don't have any issues while we try to continue this mediation.
What does the station have in terms of escape vessels?
And from what I understand, there are no interstellar vessels currently docked on the orbital, so there's nothing that would be able to take us out from here.
Is there anything that would get us onto the surface, at least?
Not that I can tell, but I'm... Actually, yes, so there are some shuttles we'd be able to take.
Right.
Are you suggesting, William, that we go down to the surface, though?
If the station is in dire straits, then the surface may be our only option to survive.
Of course, if we lose power in less than 7 minutes, we're done for.
Right. Well,
Just to
these
be
are...
clear, apologies. I got a report from I forgot about it in the stress of all of this, but we do have shuttles, actually.
Right, yes, because the shuttles that I'm detecting are Ascension shuttles, so I was going to
Yes.
say we'd have to be taking your vehicles. And there's currently no communications.
Nope.
For
No
us to-
long-range communication. I can't talk to my teams on the planet.
Okay.
I am more than happy to take us all off to the planet. We want to avoid casualties, obviously. Needless to say, I would love for a deal to also include the fact that the Ascension group would like to have 60% of the Northern Hemisphere.
You really think now, when people's lives are in danger, is the right time to push your slightly illegal claims on the planet?
How is that illegal? We're literally debating how we're going to share this planet. So,
After you've
The thing
taken
is,
samples that caused probably this whole disaster in the first place. But
it was an accident. We're all in there for space discovery, aren't we? We know there are risks. We took them for the greater good.
this
Well,
is why capitalism is...
I'm afraid we are not going to get a very warm reception on the surface. The Avahay are unhappy that we have woken the ancients. Buildings in the Vale of Winds have lit up. Something is online.
Oh.
Right.
It's possible that I have access to some programs, some AIs, that might be able to shut the signal down.
And we'd have to
provided
go
we
on
get down there.
planet.
Yes, unfortunately, it's I don't know if you remember, like, dongles and small external hard drives. It's a bit like that, I'm afraid.
I mean, technology is more our range, so I understand. But if you have something that can help, that would be great. I think we all agree that the most important thing for us is to stay alive.
If you can stop whatever is happening,
Yes.
I think the Avahay people will thank you.
So it sounds like we need to go down to planet so that we're able to communicate with the Abahay people, with the Ascension group, and what they're currently drilling, and then also for Calvex to use their technology to figure out what's happening.
Yes, I think it's in everyone's best interest that we help each other out like this right now.
Yes.
Right.
Can I just ask though? So if you have AI, I'm surprised this is, an amount of technology I didn't expect that the Calvix Collective would have.
We some extremely smart and intelligent people working with us who believe at the core that technology should also be shared and shared alike.
I am not saying that you're not smart, obviously. I'm just worried that this is new information we didn't have. We were talking about technology to, be able to make use of the planet.
A fair amount of the technology that goes into terraforming is at its core AI.
Okay. I'm
sorry.
Are you okay, William?
I'm sorry to butt in. The Avahay are threatening to shoot any approaching shuttles down.
Just curious, William, how are you getting this communications from them if communications channels are down?
Yes, indeed.
They only have quite antiquated communications technology. I have to have a special communicator on my person.
You have a radio.
Mm-hmm.
Very analog.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, at least with a radio, unlike with AI, you're not able to spy on other groups, I suppose. And I'm surprised that you attack me for having done some tests before when you have an AI system that knows it's already compatible with things.
Okay, getting back
to fail in 2 minutes.
All right, getting back on track, William. I would ask that you extend to the Abahay people exactly how apologetic we are that this situation is happening, and that unfortunately we have to go on planet in order to prevent any further disruptions from happening. Hopefully they can understand that we cannot communicate with our teams from up here.
And we have stopped the test. That message was sent.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll wait for them to have a response, but in the meantime, I do think we need to prepare to leave.
Station. Yeah. Can we land in the southern hemisphere?
As long as we are as close as possible to the northern border. If that's where the signal we need to shut it down is, being as close as we can as possible, be much better.
Fusion
Arbitrator, my console is reading no shuttles.
We have 60 seconds, guys. Do we have any news? I don't want to send my shuttles without knowing that they'll be blown up.
And it's not possible to have the shuttles orbit until we have confirmation from the Abahay people that we're allowed to land.
Well, my console says that there are no shuttles remaining on board.
But we do have the Ascension shuttles.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's leave then.
Okay, let's leave.
All right. Can we please agree to say that
Fusion reactor failed in 30 seconds.
We can continue discussing on the shuttle as we get to safety.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Great.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I'm sorry, who hits the gun?
3, 2, 1. Station destroyed. And there we are. There we have it. So, anyway, that's the situation. We had a refusal of the local population to allow shuttles. Could there possibly have been any way around that?
More shuttles than they had possibly bullets.
Bullets. I actually did chuck a hint at somebody who has something other than shuttles they could have used.
What, my drones?
Your drone.
Yeah, but the thing is, I thought the long-range signals were not available. So...
Long-range signals are off. Short-range signals were fine. I actually did say that to Chris after he'd said, why he could talk to the locals, but I probably should have made that a little clearer to other people. But hey, what's the heck? It was all part of the process and all the fun of getting.
I was busy flanging and didn't want to retract my flange.
So, anyone, what were Ascension up to?
I mean, we want a bunch of stuff to make sure that we have the best stuff with us. And we did find a weird signal that we're like, ooh, we want that because we really need the money, essentially. We really need the money.
When you were like, "Hey, we're in the north," I'm like, "Perfect. This does not script any plans I have whatsoever."
it's fine.
Go
Yeah,
right ahead,
fine.
take it. I don't care.
Yeah, you also go. I mean, you're ideological, weird cult people. I don't care. It's fine. It's just we can share the planet. Just
Exactly.
stay in
We
your
could make it
corner.
work.
You could gang up against the indigenous people.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh.
Really? You know, I apologized several times. And I
You
was like,
did.
"You can have 40%."
You did. I was
But
quite
are
pleased.
you
that
indigenous people if you just crash landed? I mean, come on.
Yeah, 200 years ago as well. It's not very long.
It's not very long. You know,
I was pleased
colonizers.
that nobody challenged me on that.
That's true. I did actually expect someone to challenge you on that. I didn't put it in the plot, but I did. It was one of the things I did think someone might pick up for you.
I mean, if there's no other indigenous population for me to take into consideration, then, like, consider 200 years enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. That's fair.
To be fair.
So, so what would the UFR Council, Colonial Arbiter, have? How would you have split up the planet based on the information you had?
I think it just sounds like as long as what the indigenous population are looking for is 40% of the northern hemisphere, and that means specifically their sacred sites not being touched, then, like, I think it was fine to keep the Ascension group going, unless it felt like the Ascension group were
Well,
doing bullshit.
if you read between the lines,
Not-
I think
Sorry for my
even-
French.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Even the Calvex group needed to have access to the geothermals, which were in the northern region.
Mm.
Yep.
The northern region where you have the Vale and the Valley of the Winds, the original landing site.
Mm.
So if you're going to give that to the indigenous people, no one gets the geothermals.
Mm.
The buildings, that the reason why the Ascension group really want that area, they don't get either. The indigenous people get to look after it all. Job
Yeah,
done,
I mean,
thank you very much.
considering that, like, the UFR's charter is specifically about environmental, like, integrity and settlement stability, it just didn't sound like mining was the most important thing in the conversation.
Yeah, but your harmonic drives don't operate on thin air. Oh well, they do
Yeah.
hydrogen, but
Aren't you
Anyone got
happy
any
you've
other-
got the latest iPhone? Because that's how you get it. Okay.
I'm not an iPhone person. You can't get me. No.
Me neither.
Android.
Android.
Stand Android on this.
Okay, yeah, I'm on iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
plot
yeah.
twist. The indigenous
Plot twist.
people are the iPhone people
Exactly.
who won't let us mine.
200 years, you say?
You go,
iPhone
without an
200.
upgrade. I mean, come on. So,
You'd
any
say
other
we had some
thoughts?
archaic comms technology.
Okay, that's wait. So you were basically FaceTiming them. That's what you're basically saying.
Yeah.
No, you're
Any
Skyping.
other thoughts, challenges, and so on and so forth?
I quite enjoyed being fully on the level for once.
Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't last. I have been particularly mean to Chris. I've given him a bunch of very, very underhand rolls of late. So, but it is randomized. It wasn't intentional. So,
Uh-huh.
That's what
Yeah.
Oscar
Yeah.
says to your face, but
I actually roll a d4 when I do it as well. That's how sad I am.
Oh,
I know.
It's not sad, it's
funny, isn't it?
proper. It's
Yeah,
honest.
proper.
Yes.
There's
We're
a
talking
couple of
about
times when I
archaic tech.
cheat. Well, yeah. Yeah, I cheat sometimes with Karim, who's one of the other players, and only because there are fun roles. Like one of the early scenarios had an 8-year-old kid, and I was a bit mean making him do it because I know he's done that before in the old days when we first wrote this stuff out. But it was one of the early ones, so I didn't want to chuck people who didn't have that kind of like background in improv to pull it off, because it's a bit of a hard role. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it was perfect.
yes, indeed. Anyone else got any thoughts, comments, insights they want to share with the rest of you? Any kind of, for example, the AI was, obviously, what were you doing with the AI, Hem?
Well, I may have already sent some probes to interact with whatever precursor civilization and signal was down there. I may have already made it so I could tweak some planetary systems in my eventual favor, but it would have been for the betterment of all.
Oh yeah,
For the
I've
colony.
heard that before.
The colony, yes.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that before.
And you basically intercepted a lot of the messages the other party got. So, for example, the report that Chris you got about the sensors, Hem had already got.
I may have been like, "Ooh, what happened? Who did this? What's going on here? Can I break this? Ah, crap! I'm too far away."
Exactly. And there was something similar with the Ascension group as well, with the drones as well. So, yes, there was a little bit of that going on in the background as well.
That's why you knew. And yet I was the bad guy.
Yeah. I hadn't actually messed anything up yet.
You hadn't been caught. That's the thing.
Yes,
because
yes.
Ascension were caught already doing tests.
Yeah.
Puts you on an even foot.
Was it Sparta rules? It's not the fact you did; it's the fact you got caught.
Yes. Exactly. This is
just
Sparta.
No, it's all about. It's like startups, okay? It's try fast, fail fast, and then fail fast.
Exactly.
But to iterate and then make the whole station explode. But we're in shuttles,
But the cost of losing a station.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Oops.
That's going to be
Sorry, you
that's
lost
gonna be
your
tricky.
station.
Oh yeah.
I have to tell the boss.
Yeah.
On that note, anyone got any last minute things we're going to add? And I'm going to say thank you very much. This has been your Anything Could Happen, where we have had a dilemma where you could have found a way, potentially, or could you? How would you have solved it? How would you have found a way to prevent the explosion of the orbital station? How would you have made sure you made connection with the precursor species? How would you have done anything else? Anyway, next time we will find out what happens, because obviously anything could happen.